The day Adaora lost everything, the sky over Lagos was grey, not the kind of romantic grey that came before rain, but the thick, unforgiving kind that pressed against her chest like a weight. She stood outside a rusted gate in Lekki, clutching a worn leather bag that held all that remained of her 31 years on earth, a few dresses, her degree certificate in business administration, an old makeup palette, and a dream so fragile it barely survived her own disbelief. She had just been evicted from her apartment. 6 months earlier, she'd had a 9-to-5 job in a marketing agency, a 2-bedroom flat she shared with her cousin, and a modest business on the side, mixing lip gloss in her kitchen and selling on Instagram. But Lagos is a city of sudden turns, and when the agency downsized, Adaora's name was on the list. The cousin moved abroad without notice, and with no income and rising rent, her life unraveled like a threadbare wrapper in the wind. She was too proud to go back to Enugu. Her parents had died years ago in a car crash. Her younger brother was barely surviving on NYSC allowance. And friends. Most were tired of hearing, "Please, I just need a little help." So, she wondered. For 3 weeks, Adaora slept in a church compound in Yoba. The security guard let her stay because she never caused trouble. In the mornings, she'd wash her face with sachet water behind the building and sit under a mango tree, scribbling in her notebook, "African skin. African shades. African power." The dream never left her. Even when hunger gnawed. Even when she sold her last gold earring for 1,000 Nigerian nairas just to eat. In her notebook, she designed the brand, bold packaging in Ankara prints, lipstick names like Queen Nefertiti and Ya Asantewa Red, and foundations that finally matched every shade of melanin. She called it Dusara Beauty, a made-up word that meant nothing to anyone else, but to her, it meant, from the dust, she rises. One afternoon, hungry and lightheaded, Adaora walked into a community center in Suralere where a small women's empowerment event was taking place. She didn't belong, her dress was wrinkled, her sandals worn, but she sat quietly in the back. The speaker, a young woman who ran an NGO for widows, spoke about starting where you are with what you have. The words pierced Adaora's skin like lightning. After the session, she approached the speaker and asked for 5 minutes. She showed her notebook, her business idea, and even her old makeup palette, explaining how she once mixed shades for real women, not models. Something in her voice, cracked, yet full of fire, must have moved the woman. She gave Adaora a chance. A 20,000 Nigerian nairas grant. It wasn't much, but to Adaora, it felt like $1 million. She rented a shared room in Mushin, bought raw materials from Ojota Market, and began making lip gloss in used plastic containers. She sold to market women, bus drivers' wives, and hairdressers. No logo. No brand. Just results. And people started to notice. Lagos didn't change overnight. There were still days Adaora cried herself to sleep from exhaustion. She still worked for hours because she couldn't afford transport. But she posted consistently online, raw, unfiltered photos of real women glowing in her gloss. Her caption was always the same. "We rise from the dust. We build our beauty with our hands." A blogger stumbled on her page and wrote a piece titled, "The Beauty Brand That Smells Like Resilience." Orders began trickling in. Then a trickle became a stream. By the time she turned 33, Adaora had registered Dusara Beauty officially. She hired 2 apprentices, young girls from her area who had never believed in makeup, let alone business. She didn't just build a brand. She built a movement. She introduced the Unfiltered Beauty campaign, featuring albino women, women with tribal marks, burns, scars, vitiligo, and natural dark skin that had been ignored by international brands. She didn't retouch photos. She printed them boldly. People called her mad. "This isn't the face of beauty," they said. She replied, "This is African beauty. And it doesn't need your permission." At 35, she stood on a TEDx stage in Cape Town. Her story was no longer secret. She had been featured in BBC Africa, Ebony Magazine, and Forbes Women Africa. Her products were sold in 5 countries, with flagship stores in Lagos and Nairobi. Yet, she never forgot the churchyard mango tree where she once dreamed. Every year, on the date she became homeless, she visited that tree, now taller, wider, still standing. She would bring her team, sit on the floor with them, and tell the story of how one woman turned dust into fire. Her company, Dusare Beauty, is now Africa's fastest growing homegrown beauty empire. And at every product launch, every press interview, every panel discussion, she wears one thing, a single chain around her neck, holding a small, dusty sachet of foundation she mixed back when she had nothing. It reminds her that no matter how far she rises, she was once just a girl with cracked hands, big dreams, and nothing but faith. So when they ask her, "How did you do it?" she smiles, gently, and says, "I was never chasing beauty. I was chasing freedom. And freedom, my dear, is always worth the fight."